Finding your singing voice.
So what the hell does that mean? I'll tell you one of the things it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean finding some stylistic weird thing that makes you sound unique and then just chasing after that because it's different or whatever. A lot of times those kinds of things are horrible and cringeworthy, and it really doesn't have that much to do with figuring out your voice. If you do happen to find that along the way, something that really makes you stand out or that feels right to you, then that's just great. Serendipitous moment for you. Congratulations. So what does it mean? Well, what it means to me is finding something physically, most of the time more physically than sonically, but also sonically that keeps showing up day after day, week after week, month after month, maybe even year after year, that feels like home to you. You might find it by accident because you just keep feeling it and hearing it come up. Maybe it's an internal tonality that you kind of feel and hear and start to process as being unique to you, or just comfortable and relaxed and easy. It's not something that's contrived where you're trying to put on some stylistic thing. Again, those kinds of things I'm going to talk about and we're going to get into a little bit later in this video. But for the most part, it should be relatively easy to get into, relatively easy on your physiology, your physical voice to produce this and keep producing this over and over again. And you should not have to warm up for 3 hours to get there. You shouldn't have to smoke 19 cigarettes and then scream 3 songs in your car and say, yeah, no, that's how I warm up and that's how I get there. That's all another version of contrived, too much force, too much whatever. And that's not sustainable. And it's not the way that we find our actual authentic singing voice.
The meaning of life.
It's amazing to imagine that the following advice that I'm going to give could be taken in a negative way, but we're on the internet and there's a lot of stupid people in the world, so it's been taken negatively before when I've said something like this. Either way, I believe that one of the main goals in life, if not the main goal in life, is to figure out what your gifts are as a person and to figure out how to authentically express those gifts and utilize those gifts to help other people, and sometimes that's also helping yourself. That helps other people, but that's a whole other thing. Learning how to step into your power, your personal self-love, self-respect, and being who you are and letting that shine forward. Stepping into somebody else's dream, tone, style, all these things can empower you for a while, but after a while it runs out and you need to step into who you are because that's what resonates with people. That's where this raw connection comes from. And at the end of the day, we're really all trying to connect with each other. But let's continue because it brings me to my next point. And all this brings me to my next point.
Vulnerability and trauma.
I think it's important to recognize that a lot of times when somebody wants to sing, some part of them wants to communicate on a deeper level than what they can do with their speaking voice, with their body language and things like that. So a lot of times, if we're being honest, the desire to sing is coming from a place of vulnerability and a place of trauma. We want to communicate something, we feel like we can't. So noticing that and then trying to teach people or then trying to learn these things can be a very big roller coaster because it has much less to do than learning guitar or something like that. I mean, this is all a physical thing, but again, there's so much emotion attached to this. One of the biggest fears that people have on the planet is not snakes or getting shot in the face or getting shot in the face by a snake, but is public speaking. Standing up in front of people and having to communicate. They might know the information well. It doesn't make a difference. It still makes people scared to death. And it doesn't matter what age you are or whatever. Singing is very, very similar to that, obviously, or sometimes maybe even worse because of all the levels of the fear of being judged and the fear of, am I good enough? All these kinds of things. It should be an important, quick thing that I throw in here that since I've been teaching again for 15 years, the level and my understanding of good singing versus bad is huge. That spectrum is huge. And even when somebody says this person's a good singer, that's subjective as well. Somebody else might just be like, nah, I think it sucks. So keep that in mind as well as you're going forward with this, that there is not such a thing as a good singer and a bad singer. It's about your version of expression, your version of authenticity, your version of being able to connect with people that matters much more than how many trills you can throw at the end of a line or how much vibrato you have or something like that. There's so many levels to this. So having said all that, singing is definitely much like being naked in front of people. Now this is going to get weird, but it's probably already weird anyway. If you were to go stand in front of 5 people naked, well, to get better at it and to get over it, some people obviously more weirdly comfortable with it than others, you're going to have to do it over and over and over again. Singing is very, very much like this. The more you get into that naked feeling and you do it, And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, or if you're overweight or you're short, or if it doesn't matter, all these things, because you need to reoccurringly do this over and over again. What's funny is even a great performer, if they take a month off and they jump back on a stage, that naked feeling can start showing up again, because you need to do this over and over again to get rid of that weird awkwardness of like, oh, I'm going to stand here and do this. Again, it brings up all that same weird fear of public speaking and public doing all this and whatever. Having all eyes on you can be very intimidating and very frightening.
Oh my God, I sound like this person.
Do you though? I've worked with people for 15 years. I'd say maybe 3% of people have a skill to actually mimic. And that's not just me being a prick. It's just me saying the skill to mimic, usually something people think that they're doing a lot, the way that they hear themselves in their head, especially in their car. Dude, the other day I was totally killing it when I was singing along to Alice in Chains. I should record it next time. Please do. A lot of times when you're going to listen back, you're going to be like, oh no, that sucks. I have a little bit of a skill to mimic, but again, it's like a magic trick. It's only going to take you so far. It's a parlor trick. It's a neat little thing, but it's only going to push you so far. And sometimes it's going to push you in the wrong direction, because again, we're trying to find what is making you special so that you're not just giving that power away, thinking it's not good enough, and trying to be somebody that you're not, and trying to be somebody else. Somebody else has gone through their whole career and established themselves and made themselves great, so it feels good trying to step into that. But again, it's only going to slow you down in the long run in some ways.
And now a quick word from Fred. Stripping away the bullshit.
I have many videos about this stuff if you want to learn how to produce sounds and things like that that are physically trying to help you move towards finding your physical regular voice. So you can always find those, but this was just an advice video that I wanted to give. So if you're coming into singing relatively new, you're going to have to learn how to strip away a lot of bullshit, because you're going to want to tack on a lot of bullshit to cover up the fears that you have. We've all heard that person that just started singing or making music, and then you listen to their stuff and their voice is completely affected and reverbed out, and they're trying to hide behind these things. That's a version of bullshit. And we need to strip that away so, again, we can get back to that naked feeling, start really embracing that and being like, okay, this is who I am, this is what I sound like, and then we can actually start stepping forward in an empowered way instead of covering everything up. When you're practicing this type of stuff, you're practicing singing or even just scales, you can look in a mirror and start paying attention physically to what's happening. Strip away all the bullshit, all of the words and style and all those things that you've accumulated, and just make simple sounds. Even you could take one of your favorite songs. I'll take the first thing that pops into my head. And I'm going to take the melody, and then I'm going to start putting the words back in. Look into a mirror, pay attention to the face, the jaw, the neck. When do things go from gentle and comfortable and relaxed to then more forced, more tense, more neck tension, more jaw tension, more smile, all these types of things? If I was to do that, I'll take a song like this. Oh, mama, I'm in fear from my life, from the long arm of the law. Ma, na, 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 na. Now you'll notice, since I've practiced this quite a bit, there shouldn't be much of a deviation between me almost just humming that and singing one vowel versus actually putting the words back in. That's me authentically, whether anybody likes it or not, or whether I like it or not, what my voice naturally wants to do in its most simple state. Then, as I reach that most simple state and I start to understand that from loud to quiet and from diaphragmatically supported and all that, then I can start dressing it up and putting clothing on it.
Singing style is clothing.
Singing style is clothing for the voice. You could wake up and not feel good about yourself, and you could dress up like Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses every day. And somebody on the street might be like, hey, fuck yeah. And you might feel better about yourself. But deep down, again, you're going to know that this has nothing to do with who you really are. And there's people that do this their whole life, and they try to live that way just to get a shred of validation. That sucks. But anyway, again, you're trying to figure out who you are and what matters and what makes you, what makes you shine. As you add style back into that simple thing, you've stripped away a lot of this bullshit and you're starting to move forward and understand how to physically sing. Then we can start adding style back in. And you already had, eye color, hair color. You already had some style in there, from just who you physically are to where you grew up to the way you speak. Maybe you were born in the South and you have a little bit of a Southern drawl or something like that. So there's already some version of that. The way your skull's shaped, the way your face is shaped is already going to add some style in there. And that's great. But then as we add style back in, think about it again, just like clothing. We add a different shirt, we add a bracelet, we add this or that. Try different things on, see what feels best, but know that if you start overdoing it, you're probably just trying to cover up for vulnerability again. If I go putting on 27 bracelets, after a while, somebody's sitting with me as I'm talking and I'm moving my hand around, it's going to clang, 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 clang. They're going to start paying attention to just that because it's too much. And again, there's a lot of singers out there that are doing all this stuff, and we all know when it's too much. And some people still are like, that's amazing. But you lose expression, you lose authenticity, you lose communication when there's too many goddamn bracelets on, or when there's something that's just too much. 3 scarves on, people just focus on that, and you lose all meaning. So keep that in mind. But singing style and really adhering to a style is figuring out being comfortable naked, and then figuring out how to clothe that and really start styling it up and dressing it up. And man, like I said, try to do all kinds of things. See what really feels best. What empowers you to step into.
Old versus the new.
And lastly, as I try to wrap all this stuff up, the old versus the new, one of the main things that I try to tell students, and I think is super important in your journey, is when you start to work with a teacher, maybe you're watching 800 different videos, and you start to recognize the difference between the way that you used to sing and a new way that's starting to establish and a muscular level, etc. If you are watching videos online, that's a lot of the way that I learned back 17 years ago or something like that. And there wasn't as many videos and teachers and all this stuff, so it was a little bit easier to navigate. But I will give you some advice. Try to stick with one person. Find somebody's style that you like in terms of their teaching, the way that they speak, the way that they break information down, and try to stick with learning from them more exclusively for a while. If you're learning from a bunch of different people, it's going to get more confusing and you're going to find conflicting information because not everybody is really good at this stuff. Not everybody's good at conveying it, breaking it down, or really being trustworthy in what the hell they're talking about. So try to stick with one person. Here's another thing that goes a little bit further with that. Try to stick with one fundamental that you're learning for a little bit of time before you're trying to learn other things at the same time. If you're trying to learn 3, 4, 5 damn things at the time, it's going to kind of detract from what you're doing, and you're going to learn all things slower, and you're going to get more frustrated because you're just going to wonder if you're getting better versus actually seeing progress with one fundamental thing that you're doing. For example, I would just get obsessed with vibrato and pissed off that I couldn't do it well, so I would do nothing but vibrato the shit out of everything for a month straight. And then I might get finally bored of that, and then I might move on to another thing. Try to stick with certain things like that. Again, if you are working with a teacher, know that you're going to have to give this some time. You cannot just buy a lesson with a really expensive teacher and expect miracles to happen. Know that you're going to be working with somebody for a little while. And again, the most important thing again that's going to keep coming up is, like I said, starting to physically recognize, and auditorily again, but most likely physically recognize, oh, I'm doing the thing that I used to do. Oh, now that's that new path. Starting to trust in that new path and recognize that this is the path forward, even if you don't trust it 100%. Is always going to be better than recognizing, like, here's the old thing I did that always kind of failed or blew my voice out or hurt or whatever. You can't fix a behavior if you're not aware of it. So as I teach, I like to teach people physically as much as I can. Everybody can tell you to make sounds all day long, but that doesn't physically teach you what the hell you're doing. It just teaches you to make a sound, and then trying to do that over time, you're trying to ingrain that into the body and muscle memory so that it makes some sense on a physical level. If you want help with any of this stuff, I'm on Patreon making all kinds of videos all the time. I have text programs where you can text me weekly to get advice, send me questions. God, I wish somebody would have made that when I was young. I wish I could have sent one video to somebody professional and been like, am I doing this right? And gotten feedback. So I offer that on Patreon. And I also offer monthly critiques where you can just hit me up once a month, send me a video. Am I doing this well? Do I sound like shit? What's happening here? How does this person do this? Etc. And then, yeah, if you want to hit me up about lessons, I've been teaching again for 15 years. I hope this video helped you a little bit. I know I'm just talking about all kinds of different concepts, but I have plenty of videos on here if this wasn't enough for you, or some other complaint that you might have. Thanks very much. I just got back on YouTube, just got back up and running here. I just moved to France from the United States, so life has been bananas. But I'm happy to see everybody again. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you again soon because I'm going to be making all kinds of things.